Before you give up on her, pause. Not because she deserves another chance, but because you deserve clarity. Most men don't walk away from relationships because they stop caring. They walk away exhausted, confused, slowly losing themselves while trying to fix something that no longer responds. In today's world, we're taught to chase, explain, and overextend, as if love is something you can negotiate into existence. But Stoicism teaches the opposite truth. What must be forced is already lost. This video is not about convincing her to stay. It's about stopping the quiet self-betrayal that happens when you abandon your values just to avoid being alone. Before you make a decision you can't undo, before you send that message, before you beg for clarity, before you walk away in anger, you need to see this clearly. Today, we'll explore powerful Stoic lessons on love, attachment, and self-respect. So, whatever choice you make it from strength, not fear. If you're ready to choose dignity over desperation, stay with me. 1. Don't try to hold on to someone who isn't choosing you. Most men don't lose relationships because they didn't love enough. They lose them because they loved from fear instead of strength. When she starts pulling away, replies get shorter, interest fades, effort becomes uneven. Your instincts take over. You want to fix it. You want to explain yourself. You want to prove that you're still worthy of being chosen. And in that very moment, you begin to abandon your own value. Stoicism teaches a hard truth most people avoid. You cannot keep someone who is not freely choosing you, not because you're inadequate, but because their choice is not under your control. The more you try to hold on, the more you place yourself beneath them. The more you explain, the more you silently communicate. I need you more than you need me. And in any relationship, that imbalance always ends the same way, with lost respect. Look at reality without emotion clouding it. If someone truly wants to stay, you won't need long messages to convince them. You won't need to analyze every word they send. You won't live in constant tension, waiting for reassurance. Real connection does not require self-betrayal. Love that's alive does not demand that you lose your composure to keep it alive. A Stoic doesn't ask, "What do I need to do so she chooses me?" A Stoic asks a far more important question. Am I choosing myself? Here's the paradox most men resist accepting. Attraction never grows from desperation. It grows from stability, from calm boundaries, from the quiet confidence of a man who does not chase validation. The moment you stop trying to hold someone who is drifting away, you are not losing. You are reclaiming control. Silence, used correctly, is not coldness. It is self-respect. Distance, applied with intention, is not punishment. It is clarity. A Stoic understands this. If you must run after someone to keep them, then whatever remains, if anything remains at all, will be a relationship built on fear, yet not mutual choice. And nothing strong is built on that foundation. So do one difficult, necessary thing. Withdraw your energy. Stop explaining. Stop chasing. Stop trying to be chosen. Not to manipulate, not to test her, but to protect your dignity. Observe instead of reacting. Watch actions, not words. Who reaches out when you don't beg? Who disappears when you stand still? The truth reveals itself quickly when you stop pursuing it. Remember this and let it guide you. Attraction never grows from desperation. You don't need to hold on to someone who isn't choosing you. What you need to hold on to is yourself. 2. Her emotions are not under your control. One of the most painful traps men fall into in relationships is believing this lie. If I say the right thing, if I do enough, she'll change. So you adjust your tone. You walk on eggshells. You replay conversations in your head, searching for the exact moment everything went wrong. And slowly, without noticing, your inner world becomes dependent on her emotional state. Stoicism cuts through this illusion with brutal clarity. You do not control how someone feels about you. You never did. You can control your actions. You can control your character. You can control how you respond. But her attraction, her uncertainty, her emotional distance, those are not yours to manage. The moment you take responsibility for another person's feelings, you give up responsibility for your own peace. This is where most men suffer unnecessarily. They confuse love with responsibility. They confuse commitment with emotional labor that was never theirs to carry. The Stoic understands the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to you, some things are not. Your effort is up to you. Your honesty is up to you. Your boundaries are up to you. Her response is not. Yet when men sense emotional withdrawal, they often react the same way. More reassurance, more explaining, more pressure, subtle or obvious. But pressure never creates desire, and fear never creates connection. Trying to manage her emotions only does one thing. It teaches her that your stability depends on her reactions, and that is deeply unattractive, not because you're weak, but because you've handed over control of your inner state. Stoicism doesn't tell you to be cold, it teaches you to be self-contained. A man grounded in Stoic discipline does not panic when emotions fluctuate. He observes, he stays centered, he doesn't chase clarity. He allows clarity to reveal itself. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If she pulls away when you stop managing her feelings, then the connection was never mutual to begin with. Real interest doesn't require emotional babysitting. Real attraction doesn't collapse when you stop overfunctioning. So instead of asking, what can I do to make her feel differently? Ask this: am I acting in alignment with my values, regardless of the outcome? This shift changes everything. It moves you from anxiety to authority, from reaction to intention, from fear to grounded presence. And presence is what women respond to, not control. Here's a simple Stoic practice you can apply immediately. When you feel the urge to fix, explain, or soothe her emotions, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself one question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Not with resentment, not with withdrawal, but with calm acceptance. You don't need to emotionally manage someone to be worthy of love. You don't need to rescue a connection to prove your value. The more you respect the boundary between what is yours and what is not, the more solid you become. And whether she stays or leaves, you remain intact. Remember this: what you try to control will control you. What you release frees you. And a man who is free inside never begs to be chosen. 3. Loving her while losing yourself is a double loss. One of the quietest ways a man destroys a relationship is not through anger, cheating, or abandonment, but through slow self-erasure. It starts subtly. You let small things slide to keep the peace. You swallow words you should have spoken. You apologize for things that didn't violate your values, only her comfort. At first, it feels noble, patient, mature, loving, but over time, something changes. You're no longer showing up as who you are. You're showing up as who you think you need to be to keep her. And Stoicism is very clear about this. Any love that requires you to abandon your core is already corrupt. Many men believe strength in relationships means endurance. If I just tolerate more, she'll feel safer. If I bend a little further, things will stabilize. But tolerance without boundaries is not strength. It's fear disguised as loyalty. A Stoic understands that self-respect is not negotiable, not in work, not in life, and certainly not in love. The moment you begin sacrificing your principles to avoid conflict, you train the relationship to exist at your expense. And here's the brutal irony. The more you abandon yourself, the less attractive you become, not because she's cruel, not because she's manipulative, but because confidence, presence, and groundedness cannot survive in a man who no longer stands for anything. Look closely at what often happens. You stop voicing disagreement. You accept inconsistent behavior. You stay silent when respect slips. And eventually, resentment replaces desire. Stoicism warns against this path for a reason. Marcus Aurelius wrote about integrity not as a moral luxury, but as a survival mechanism. When a man loses alignment with his values, his mind fractures, his energy drops, his clarity disappears, and no relationship thrives with a man who is internally divided. Ask yourself this honestly. No justification, no self-deception. Are you staying silent to be kind or to be liked? Are you compromising to build connection or to avoid loss? Are you still yourself, or a version shaped by fear? A Stoic does not confuse love with submission. Love, when healthy, meets you where you stand. It does not require you to kneel. This doesn't mean becoming rigid or cold. It means being rooted. Rooted men don't threaten. They don't plead. They don't over-explain. They hold their ground quietly. Here's a powerful Stoic exercise you need to do before making any decision about her. Write down 3 values you refuse to betray, even for love. Not preferences, not moods, values. Then ask one question: am I honoring these in this relationship? If the answer is no, then the problem is not whether she stays or leaves. The problem is that you are leaving yourself, and that is the only loss that truly matters. Remember this: no relationship is worth the cost of your spine, because once you lose that, you lose everything that made love possible in the first place. A man who stands in alignment does not fear walking alone. He fears something far worse: living beside someone while no longer recognizing the man in the mirror. 4. Distance reveals the truth faster than words. When emotions are tangled, words lie, not always intentionally, but emotionally. Promises sound convincing, explanations feel comforting. Let's see how it goes. Buys time. But distance never lies. Stoicism teaches a principle most men resist because it feels passive. Yet it is one of the most powerful tools you have. Step back and observe. Not to punish, not to manipulate, but to see reality without distortion. When you are constantly present, constantly available, constantly explaining, you interfere with the truth. You blur it. Distance removes the noise. When you stop initiating, stop checking in, stop smoothing emotional waves, something important happens. Her natural level of investment reveals itself, and that truth arrives quickly. A woman who values you will feel your absence, not in panic, but in awareness. She will move toward you, not away. A woman who was staying out of comfort, convenience, or uncertainty will drift further, and that tells you everything you need to know. Stoics don't fear this moment, they welcome it, because clarity is worth more than false hope. Here's where most men go wrong. They treat distance as a tactic. They think, if I pull away, she'll miss me. That's not Stoic. That's strategy rooted in need. Stoic distance is different. It says, I will not chase what is unclear. I will not argue with uncertainty. I will let action speak. This requires discipline, because silence is uncomfortable when you're attached. Your mind will fill the gap with stories, worst-case scenarios. Regret. But Stoicism teaches mastery over impulse, not elimination of emotion. You feel the urge, and you don't obey it. And in that restraint, something powerful happens. You regain your center. Distance does 3 things simultaneously. First, it gives you back your energy. You stop spending mental bandwidth decoding mixed signals. Second, it removes pressure from the dynamic. Attraction cannot breathe under constant emotional demand. Third, and most important, it exposes truth. Who reaches out when you don't chase? Who shows consistency when you stop carrying the connection alone? Who becomes irritated when they can no longer access you freely? Pay attention. Stoicism values patterns over promises. Patterns are reality. Promises are noise. A man who needs constant reassurance will accept words in exchange for respect. A Stoic waits for alignment. This doesn't mean disappearing or playing games. It means you stop compensating for imbalance. You show up fully, but not endlessly. You care, but not at the cost of self-respect. Try this Stoic practice for 7 days. Do not initiate unnecessary contact. Do not explain your silence. Do not chase emotional closure. Simply live your life with order, discipline, and presence. And observe. If she leans in, you'll feel it. If she fades, you'll see it. And either way, you gain truth. Remember this. Distance is not rejection. It is a filter. It filters out confusion. It filters out imbalance. It filters out attachment rooted in fear. And once the truth is visible, you no longer have to guess. A Stoic does not argue with reality. He aligns with it and moves forward without resentment. Because knowing where you stand is always better than standing nowhere at all. 5. If she only loves you when you abandon yourself, it isn't love. There is a moment every man reaches in a difficult relationship where the fear becomes quiet and clarity replaces it. That moment usually comes when you realize this truth. She's most comfortable when you're least yourself, when you're agreeable, when you soften your edges, when you silence your standards, when you make yourself smaller so the relationship feels easier. At first, this feels like compromise, but Stoicism draws a sharp line here. Compromise is mutual. Self-erasure is one-sided. If the relationship only works when you suppress your needs, your voice, or your boundaries, then what you're preserving is not love. It's attachment. And attachment, when rooted in fear, will cost you everything. Many men stay because they fear the alternative. Silence, loneliness, the void left behind. But Stoicism teaches that solitude with integrity is always superior to connection without it. Ask yourself this carefully. Does she love you for who you are, or for who you become when you stop standing up for yourself? If peace only exists when you comply, that peace is borrowed. And borrowed peace always demands repayment, with interest. Here is a hard Stoic reality most people avoid. A relationship that survives only when one person bends will eventually break the one who bends. Not dramatically, not all at once, but quietly, through resentment, exhaustion, and self-doubt. You begin questioning your instincts. You hesitate before speaking. You feel tension even in calm moments. That's not love. That's your nervous system warning you that alignment is gone. Stoicism does not romanticize sacrifice without reason. It values virtue, not martyrdom. A Stoic man does not stay where his character must decay to maintain closeness. This doesn't mean relationships should be effortless. Growth involves friction, but there is a difference between healthy tension and a dynamic where one person must disappear for the other to remain. Here's a simple but revealing Stoic test. Stop adjusting yourself for a moment. Speak calmly, honestly, and directly. Hold your ground without anger, then observe. If the relationship destabilizes when you are simply being real, then the bond was built on accommodation, not respect. And respect is non-negotiable. You cannot be deeply loved where you are not deeply seen. And you cannot be seen if you keep hiding. Stoicism reminds us, your identity is not a bargaining chip. You don't trade it for affection. You don't lease it for comfort. You don't shrink it to avoid abandonment. A man who gives up his spine to keep someone close will eventually lose both the person and himself. And when that happens, the loss of self hurts far more. So if you're standing at the edge, wondering whether to hold on or let go, ask yourself this. Not emotionally, but honestly. Am I staying because this relationship honors who I am, or because I'm afraid of who I'll be without it? Fear can bind you, but it can never build something worth keeping. Remember this. Love that requires self-abandonment is too expensive. If someone can only love you when you are less of a man, then walking away is not failure. It is fidelity to yourself. 6. Before you walk away, make sure you're not abandoning yourself. Before you make the final decision, before you leave, before you stay, before you send the last message, there is one mistake. Stoicism warns against more than any other, making permanent decisions from temporary emotional exhaustion. Many men don't walk away because they are clear. They walk away because they are drained. Drained from overthinking. Drained from carrying uncertainty. Drained from holding a relationship together alone. Stoicism asks you to slow down here. Not to hesitate, but to decide from alignment, not fatigue. There is a critical difference between walking away in strength and walking away in collapse. One preserves your dignity, the other carries regret. So before you give up on her, ask yourself this with brutal honesty. Are you leaving because you finally see the truth, or because you no longer have the energy to keep betraying yourself? A Stoic does not flee discomfort. He also does not tolerate decay. He pauses, not to negotiate, but to assess. Here is the Stoic checkpoint you must pass before any final choice. Are you calm or reactive? Are you centered or desperate for relief? Are you choosing based on values or trying to escape pain? If your nervous system is in survival mode, clarity is impossible. That's why Stoicism emphasizes inner order before outer action. A man aligned with himself does not rush decisions. He stabilizes first, then moves. This is what alignment looks like. You have reclaimed your routines. Your sleep is steady. Your work has focus. Your body is disciplined. Your mind is no longer orbiting her moods. From that place, the answer becomes obvious. Either she meets you with consistency, respect, and mutual effort, or she doesn't. And you don't need anger to accept that. You don't need speeches. You don't need closure rituals or dramatic exits. You simply choose what aligns with who you are becoming. Stoicism does not teach men to cling. It teaches them to stand upright. Sometimes that means staying, with clear boundaries and renewed self-respect. Sometimes that means leaving, without bitterness, without theatrics. But the key is this. You do not abandon yourself in either direction. Here is a final Stoic exercise before you decide anything. Imagine your future self 1 year from now. Not the version driven by loss, but the version who rebuilt his discipline, clarity, and self-respect. Ask him one question. Did this choice make you smaller or more solid? The correct answer will not shout. It will feel quiet, steady, unarguable. That's alignment. And once you reach it, the fear of being alone loses its power because you realize something essential. You were never afraid of losing her. You were afraid of facing yourself. Stoicism turns that fear into strength. Remember this final truth. Walking away in peace is power. Staying in alignment is power. What is weakness is staying or leaving, while betraying the man you are meant to become. When your decision is rooted in self-respect, you don't need reassurance. You move forward calmly, and whatever happens next, you remain whole. Tachi Fap conclusion. Choose strength, not attachment. Before you give up on her, understand this clearly. Stoicism was never meant to help you keep someone. It was meant to help you keep yourself. Throughout this journey, you've seen the truth unfold layer by layer. You cannot force someone to choose you. You cannot manage another person's emotions. You cannot build love by abandoning your values, and you cannot find clarity while running from yourself. Whether she stays or leaves was never the real question. The real question was always this: will you choose dignity over desperation? A Stoic man does not beg for love. He does not chase clarity. He does not trade his spine for connection. He stands firm, calm, grounded, and self-respecting, and allows reality to reveal itself. If she meets you there, it's mutual. If she doesn't, you walk away without hatred, without drama, without regret. Because the goal was never to make the relationship survive at any cost. The goal was to make you unbreakable. Remember this as you move forward. You're not here to be tolerated. You're not here to shrink for comfort. You're not here to beg for someone to see your value. You are here to live in alignment and let everything else fall where it may. If this message resonated, take a moment to reflect. Comment below the lesson that hit you the hardest. And remember this final Stoic truth: choose strength over attachment. Choose self-respect over fear. Choose yourself and let the right thing stay. Thank you for staying until the end.